It's really interesting. I'm not exactly certain how I might be viewed by my peers or sports writers or those in the broadcast industry, but I do know that that which I hear so often is, wow, he's the nicest guy in television. Sometimes it sounds like it's a death sentence the way they say it, or like, oh, that's so atypical. It's, what's the word, anathema, if you will, to the business. I mean, why can't you be just a good person? I'm trying to exhibit the biblical principles of how we're to love one another and to love others as you love yourself. I think it works pretty well by and large, but I understand the industry and the environment that I'm in. There are some who, because of their notion of what somebody is who is a man or a woman of faith, say, oh, he's really religious. Well, and I understand what they mean by it, but it's a relationship, as you well know. It's not being religious. It's not adhering to tradition for the sake of trying to be pious or what have you. I'm trying to walk that which I have learned in His Word is true. But at this point in my life and career, I'm not as concerned whether or not people understand or approve or agree, because I'm walking and living that which I know to be true. And everything that I've ever done certainly is consistent with what my avocation, which is what I call what I do as a broadcaster, my vocation is about the Word of God and hopefully bringing others into the fold. But in terms of what I do in my avocation, anything that I do in that regard is consistent with my beliefs. I do everything that I do, attempt to do it excellently unto the Lord. Well, if I'm doing it excellently unto the Lord, then that's a positive, that's a benefit in terms of what I do as a job. I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to throw myself into my job wholeheartedly. So to the degree that I display to my colleagues, my peers in my business, the kind of respect that I'm sure that they want, and I know that is inherent with my beliefs anyway, it would seem that it would be perfectly fine. I've never heard anything from any of my colleagues, my peers, those in the business, anything that would be inconsistent with the principles of excellence that I'm to display in my profession. Now, there are those, it's interesting, what underscores how I am viewed by some is I've heard somebody say one time before, and it seems to be on the most, innocuous thing. Well, I thought he was supposed to be so religious, or a man of faith, or a man of spirituality. And I have no idea what they be talking about. One sports writer mentioned when I was showing some highlights, it happened to be some hockey highlights. And hockey's pretty violent. And two players went at it. And this one writer has a real problem with the kind of violent highlights that are being shown on TV. And I understand that. And his point was, and how could James Brown, a man of faith, be voicing over highlights showing two hockey players fighting? So people can go to the extreme as well, but I understand that's the light in which I'm viewed. You know what? I'm okay with that.